Have you ever been so close to giving up that you could almost taste defeat? What if I told you the only thing standing between you and your dream is your faith? Let me tell you a story, a true story, about a man named Daniel Carter. Daniel wasn't born with silver spoons or lucky breaks. He grew up in a small town in Yorkshire, in a house with a leaky roof and a fridge that often stayed empty. His dad worked double shifts at the factory. His mom cleaned offices late into the night. But every evening, no matter how tired they were, they'd sit with Daniel at the kitchen table and say the same thing. "You've got something special in you, son. Don't ever stop believing." And Daniel believed them. He dreamed of becoming an engineer, designing bridges that would connect cities, buildings that would touch the sky. At school, he studied like his life depended on it. He'd stay up past midnight with a torch under his blanket, solving math problems while the rest of the town slept. For years, his faith carried him. But then, life hit hard. At 19, his father passed away suddenly, heart attack, no warning. The factory shut down, money vanished. Daniel had to drop out of college. He took a job at a car wash just to keep the lights on for his mom. Day after day, he scrubbed tires, wiped windshields, watched rich kids drive by in cars he could only dream of owning. And slowly, his faith began to crack. He started asking himself, what's the point? Maybe I was never meant for more. Maybe my dream was just a kid's fantasy. He stopped opening his old engineering books, stopped sketching bridge designs in his notebook, even stopped looking up at the stars at night. Because when faith dies, hope dies with it. And success? Success can't breathe without faith. One rainy Tuesday, everything changed. Daniel was washing a beat-up old van when an elderly man stepped out. He wore a worn-out coat and carried a walking stick, but his eyes, they were sharp, kind. The man watched Daniel work, really watched him, not like a customer, like he saw something no one else did. After the wash, the man didn't leave. He leaned on his stick and said, "You've got steady hands and tired eyes. What's weighing on you, son?" Daniel almost brushed him off, but something in the man's voice, it felt like home. So he told him everything, the dream, the loss, the doubt. The man listened quietly. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out a small, folded piece of paper. He said, "I was you, 60 years ago, worked in a coal mine, lost my brother in the war. Thought my life was over before it began." He handed Daniel the paper. It was a blueprint, faded, yellowed, but precise. "This," the man said, "is the first bridge I ever designed. Took me 10 years to get someone to look at it. 10 years of no. But I kept believing, because giving up would have meant my brother died for nothing." Daniel's hands trembled. Faith isn't about knowing you'll win. It's about refusing to let your dream die, even when the world says it should. Then he turned and walked away, leaving the blueprint in Daniel's hands and something far more valuable, a spark. That night, Daniel dug out his old textbooks. Dusty, yes. Forgotten, no. He started studying again, after work, before sunrise, on lunch breaks. He applied for night classes, took out a small loan. That night, Daniel dug out his old textbooks. Dusty, yes. Forgotten, no. He started studying again, after work, before sunrise, on lunch breaks. He applied for night classes, took out a small loan, failed his first exam, failed the second, but this time he didn't quit, because now he knew faith isn't a feeling, it's a choice. 5 years later, Daniel stood on a hill overlooking the River Aire, watching cranes lift steel beams into place. His bridge. Not just a structure of concrete and cable, but a monument to the days he almost gave up and chose to believe anyway. At the opening ceremony, reporters asked him, "What's the secret to your success?" Daniel smiled and said just 3 words: "I kept faith." Now, let me ask you something. Is there a dream inside you that's been quiet lately? A goal you've stopped chasing because doubt got louder than belief? Here's the truth. Success doesn't die because of failure. It dies when faith dies. You can lose money. You can lose time. You can even lose people who mattered. But as long as you hold on to faith in yourself, in your purpose, in the unseen path ahead, your success is still alive. It might be sleeping, it might be hiding, but it's waiting for you to believe again. So today, choose faith. Not because it's easy, but because your dream deserves a fighter. And that fighter is you. If this story spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, all it takes is one moment of faith to change everything. Thank you for watching. Keep believing.